Outside the cafe, Patrice handed Elle into an old handsome carriage, recently converted and fitted with an engine. Horseless carriages were all the rage in Paris these days. The spark reactor and steam engine were attached to the front of the carriage underneath the driver's seat. The dome of the reactor gleamed blue-green, and the pistons huffed and hissed. Little puffs of steam escaped while the engine idled. The cab driver, seated on the front of the carriage, held on to the lever brake to stop the cab from lurching forward. Patrice had a word with the driver and handed him money. Then he poked his head into the window. "Take care of yourself until we meet again. And don't worry about Mr. Marsh. I will see to him. Just make sure you look after the box." He pulled up the window and snapped it shut. Elle nearly fell over in her seat as the cab pulled off over the cobbles. The driver did not seem very skilled in his command of the machine, and if there was one thing Elle knew about, it was spark-powered engines. They took finesse to master, and this was clearly a skill the cab driver had not quite acquired yet. They trundled down the street and took a right turn. She caught a glimpse of the Eiffel Tower. La Dame de Fer rose up over the city bathed in afternoon light. She frowned. She knew Paris well enough to know that they were going in the wrong direction. "Excuse me!" She banged on the hatch door that opened up next to the driver so passengers could give directions. He didn't seem to hear her, so she leaned forward to open the window. It was stuck. She rattled the frame and wrenched at it until she managed to drag it open slightly. "Excuse me, this is the wrong way," she called out to the driver. There was no answer. She tried the door handle, but it too was firmly locked. The cab sped up. Something was very wrong. There was no way of telling where this man was taking her. Paris was rife with occultists and libertines in need of quarry, and that was without counting the night walkers and the other creatures of shadow. This city could be a dangerous place for a woman on her own, and she had no intention of ending up on some dark altar or a dinner platter in a dungeon somewhere. And there was the box to consider. She needed to do something. Quickly. Elle gripped the door handle and shoved at it. It budged slightly, but held firm. The building started whirring by with nauseating speed. She swallowed down the urge to panic and hitched her hold-all across her body so the leather strap nestled between her breasts. With her bag in front of her, she turned sideways and gave the door a kick with both legs. Cab doors are, by their nature, rather flimsy and not designed to be kicked. The cab shuddered. She kicked it again. The leather-padded plywood door split next to the handle. She leaned back and kicked the door again with all her strength. With the sound of tearing upholstery, the door flew open. The driver looked down in surprise and let go of the brake. The cab lurched forward, almost out of control. Elle closed her eyes and launched herself out of the moving cab. She landed on the pavement, hitting her elbow on the cobbles. She rolled and sat up, looking about to get her bearings so she could see which way to run. The cab slowed down and the engine shuddered to a halt as the driver let it stall. He yelled and leapt off the machine after her. She stood up to run, but out of nowhere, someone stepped from behind and grabbed her. Before she could react, Elle felt the cool graze of sharp-edged steel press against her throat, and it made her stop in her tracks. "Don't move, or I will slit your throat from end to end," a voice behind her said. The smell of licorice laced his breath as he held her in his grip. Absinthe. That meant it was quite likely the man was deranged. Elle held very still as the blade edge scraped against her skin. If he was away with the fairies, there was no telling what he might do. One wrong move, and she would be dead for sure. "Go restart the cab," her captor said to the driver. He tightened his grip on her. "Now, very slowly, let go of that bag of yours." His damp breath filled her ear.